Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Events Committee. We have apologies from Councillor Butterworth, Councillor Thomas, Councillor Lord, and Craig Edwards. Councillor Mary Thomas, sorry. There's two Councillor Thomases. It's hard to differentiate sometimes, but is there any declarations of interest from anybody tonight? Nope. Can I have a proposer to say that the minutes are correct for the last meeting? Thank you. Thank you, Ian. And can someone second that, please? Thank you, Michael. There's nobody here for the public forum, so I can skip straight to item number 6, which is Easter in Colne. Nathan?
So the Easter in Colne event's less than 3 weeks away. Everything's in place and we're pretty much prepared for the event. So all the operational elements are in place. So the first aid, the traffic management for the road closure, the waste management, and the portable toilets, because we've lost the toilets that we did use in Colne Market. So we've brought those in as well. We've got a wide variety of entertainment taking place throughout the day, including the Easter egg trail, free face painting, free crazy golf, free circus workshops and shows, donkey rides, free archery, live music, free rodeo sheep. We've got walkabout characters, the Wonka themed characters, and then we've got a big Easter market with 48 stalls booked on. We've been fully booked for about a month and a half now. The event has got quite a lot of support from local businesses. So we've got Farmhouse Biscuits and West Riding Hound that have sponsored the event very kindly. And we've also been lucky enough to receive a grant from Asda at Colne at £400, and they've also donated 100 Easter eggs to us. So thanks to Diane at Asda for that. The Campton Council will be running a bar on the day, just to bring in additional income, but there's no alcoholic slushes. It'll just be normal alcoholic and non-alcoholic products. But as I say, everything's in place for the Easter event, and we're just counting down now.
Councillor Mann?
Can I just ask that we've got in place our brown bins, particularly by our bar?
So there's going to be 3 brown bins, 3 general waste bins, and then 2 big skips as well. And the bins do have stickers on, so they know that if they're recycling or if they're for general waste.
Thank you.
Perfect.
When we do the Easter egg hunt, we usually do it in front of what was the old market hall. Will that still be open, or will that be fenced off for building works at all?
As far as I'm aware, the market won't be fenced off yet. So the Asda have got a stall at the event, which the egg hunt will start there, which we've got a chalkboard downstairs that Kaylee's drawn today to show that's where the trail starts, and it'll be on their schedule as well. So people won't be able to miss it. So we'll try and get it sort of same place that we had it last year, and in previous years, so people don't get confused where it is. But we've got signs in place ready.
Thank you very much for that, Nathan. Hopefully the Wonka characters will look, well, I reckon our Wonka characters will look a lot better than the ones in Glasgow. Now on to item 7, our next event of the year, the Family Fun Day.
So the Family Fun Day in Alton Courts Park, we pretty much everything's in place for the event already again. So we've got the first aid and the toilets booked. So we've got more toilets this year. I think we've got 3 disabled access and 3 standard. And then we've got the waste bins booked as well. And again, we'll have the smaller bins with stickers on to encourage people to recycle and put the rubbish in the bin. We've got a variety of entertainment throughout the day. So we've got the small stage that we're kindly borrowing from Barn Aldswick. So we'll have a variety of entertainment, live music, dance performances, a Disney princess sing-along, and then a children's entertainer. And then we'll also have a bird of prey show. We've got a giant inflatable Hungry Hippos game, rodeo football, face painting, demonstrations from Lancashire Police and Lancashire Fire and Rescue, Punch and Judy, comedy magic, balloon modelling. We've got night workshops and night shows, donkey rides, and we've got some giant transformer walkabout performers as well. We've fully booked that event with stalls. We've got 50 stalls booked and an ice cream van. And again, the town council will be running a bar at the event to bring in additional income. Fingers crossed we get the weather. But again, there'll be no alcoholic slushes.
Yes, Chair. I know it's a fun day, but what time does it actually all start? And will you need help to clear up afterwards?
So the event will start at 11 AM and finish at 4 PM. If any councillors or community groups are available to come and help litter pick, that would be brilliant. We've got plenty of litter picking equipment for anyone that's available to help. That'd be brilliant. Thank you.
Sorry, just something just rewind, because I missed what you were saying about. I know the other one was rodeo sheep in the, but there was something on it. Something in the.
So for the family fun day, we've got a rodeo football. So it's a little bit harder, and it's pretty much the same as a rodeo bull or a rodeo reindeer or a rodeo sheep, but it's shaped as a football.
Ah, right.
So
you've answered the question, because I was wondering what on earth, how you played rodeo football, as to whether they had to dress up as cowboys and
no, we've got a deal from
chase
the
something
provider,
shaped like a bull or something.
but no, it's shaped like football.
Will we be sending out letters just to residents in regards to like parking?
So we'll be sending letters out to residents in the area. We've also purchased some traffic management signs, which we'll put around the junction of the crossroad near the BMW garage and on the street going up to Halcon Courts Park to advise people that parking is available at Holt House playing fields. There will be no parking in the park whatsoever, so we're actually going to put signs at the bottom to make sure no one can gain access to the park. But we've got signage before you get to the park to advise that parking is only available at Holt House.
You'd be a bit late by the BMW garage if they're coming from Colne.
So at the crossroads, we'll have one as if you're coming along Ivory Way from towards the park, one if you're coming up past in between the mini garage and the BMW garage, one if you're coming along Ivory Way from the M65. So we'll have them at every point, and then there'll be one before they get to the before they come off the roundabout to come along Ivory Way to towards the park, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because that's where you need to catch them, so that they go up Holt House, go up Havok, Harrison Drive.
We've done a plan, and we'll have signs out in advance.
Sorry,
capture.
I apologise for my incoherence, but this is my fourth meeting today.
Did I hear right that we will not be using the bottom car park at all, or will that be for traders?
It won't be used at all, just because last year we had issues where traders, we told them to unload and then to go park the vehicle, and then because of how many traders arrive at once, you don't actually know whose vehicle's who. And when you ask them, they say, "Oh no, I've moved." And then at the end, you see them go into that vehicle that you need to move in. So this time we've decided that no one will be parking in Elkin Courts. So it'll just be staff vehicles on there.
And have they been warned about that already?
Traders or
Traders.
it'll go out in the trader guidance, which is a month before. So they'll have plenty of notice.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just wondering, you've got all these signs in place. Someone comes out, are you going to have someone on the gate at the Elkin Courts at the bottom, the entrance, to stop? Because, all right, it's all right. You say you're going to have staff cars there, but as Councillor Mann has just said, traders and other people dropping, for the likes of people who want to bring disabled people in, will they be stopped at that point? This is what, because obviously it's a family fund day, so we're attracting all members of the community, and there will be people in, mothers with babies in prams, and there'll be people with disabled people in chairs, in wheelchairs. So I'm just wondering, is there going to be someone on the at the entrance checking that it is you are bringing a disabled person? You do need to be here rather than in Elkin in Holt House and having to wheel a wheelchair down, because it's not, there's not, the roads aren't exactly and the pavements aren't exactly wheelchair friendly. So I'm just wondering, obviously, just in case I wanted to bring my friend who I care for, who's in a wheelchair, get the taxi. I can get the taxi to the but if I wanted to get a bit closer off all the gravel and onto to the proper path, I'm just wondering, what is the scenario for people in trust chairs and wheelchairs?
So we will be able to have somebody there to make sure that people that need access can be dropped off and turn around safely, but there won't be any parking available in the park, but we'll create a facility so that people can be dropped off and safely turn around. But we can get that sorted, not a problem at all. If any councillors want to volunteer to be a steward on the day, that'd be more than helpful. Could even split the day if there's to make it so someone's not stood there for 5-6 hours. If anyone wants to offer.
I think we've got a volunteer already. I think Councillor Ian Robinson loves stewarding. He's out there with his high vis vest on, and I think he's very suited to that particular role. So thank you for volunteering there, Ian. And Howard?
Have you liaised with the cafe? Because they obviously, I don't know about deliveries, but they normally park there to the cafe, and there is the people at the lodge who, that's their house, so they would need access. And the one, I forget its name now, but it was the Scout Hut that is very near the entrance. I think they need particular advance warning.
We'll be, when we send letters out to local residents, we'll be also sending letters, a separate letter to them. And then if they do have any queries in the meantime, they can get in touch and we can resolve any issues. But obviously, due to the issues we had last year, we've had to come up with a resolution for this year. It'd be ideal to have a big car park in Elkin Courts, but obviously drainage and funds don't allow that. So this is why we've put temporary measures in place, and we'll try it, and fingers crossed it works. If not, we can go back to the drawing board and make amendments until we get it right.
Thank you very much for that, Nathan. Now we're on to the Grand Prix, and we can hope that LCC do a proper resurfacing job on Craddock Road, or urgent care might be inundated with cyclists on Tuesday, the 23rd of July.
So the Grand Prix will be back on the 23rd of July. So I think it's the first week of summer holidays. Fort Vale have agreed to sponsor the event again as main sponsor, but they're not only sponsoring the men's elite race, they're also going to be sponsoring the women's elite race as well. Briggs Autopack have confirmed they'll sponsor the event again alongside Coalition Facilities Management, and Hope Technology have agreed to sponsor the first aid provision for the event. We've got 17 local sponsors, so that's a variation of local businesses that will get an advert in the programme and a banner on the racecourse for that event. And then we've got 2 food units booked in. We've got the burger unit that will be outside the library like normal, and then the Thai food van will be top of Parliament Street car park at the opposite side of the road. All the operational elements have been booked, so security, the first aid, the traffic management, the road closure application's gone in, road cleaning's been booked, the additional barriers, the additional PA, portable toilets. We've signed a contract with Scott Dawson Advertising to do the PR and marketing for the event again, like they did last year. And most of the work's been done for the Grand Prix. It's just final touches, such as the VIP buffet, the VIP bar, and a couple of other little bits. Lancashire Beer Company have agreed to donate 1 lager keg to us for the Grand Prix in return for a banner, which has reduced costs. And Farmhouse Biscuits have agreed to donate some boxes of biscuits for the youth race prizes. I've spoken with Diana Astor, and she's going to sort out some donations for us, such as packed lunches, bottles of water, and stuff like that to help us keep costs down. But everything's pretty much in place for the Grand Prix, and obviously this year we'll have the women's elite race as a new race this year.
Yeah, and I'm going to jump in before Councillor Mann this time about the all the different recycling bins being in place in the especially next to the 2 food outlets and at the main area where out the VIP session is.
So in the VIP area, there'll be a general waste bin and a recycling bin, and then next to the both food units, there'll be a general waste and a recycling bin as well. So we've already got that in place ready. Yes, we've got some volunteers for the event to go around and litter pick, but if any councillors would like to volunteer as well, obviously the more the merrier. That'd be great, thank you.
An observation from the last Grand Prix, I queried the free bar. As the evening went on, it didn't look good from the other side of the road, and alcohol was being, you could feel alcohol being, its voice was being heard. And I was just wondering, by all means have a VIP ticket, but could that not be restricted to so many free drinks? And also possibly promote a few more non-alcoholic drinks or zero beers, that kind of thing.
It's definitely something we could look at. There were 1 or 2 that I could maybe relate to what you're referring to. I think it's more if you can tell somebody's getting to the point where they shouldn't be really having any more, we do actually have a right to refuse to serve them even though they're not paying for it. And I think it's more of making sure that the bar staff are aware that they do have that right. But it's something we could look at. We have introduced more non-alcoholic options on the bar in preparation for Easter anyway, which will roll over to the Family Fun Day and the Grand Prix. But it's something we can definitely look at.
The whole point of cycling is is a healthy thing.
Yeah.
And I was stood on the other side of the road as it got towards down and went a good advert.
And as you will know, I was very disappointed that I couldn't even get a cup of coffee. However, I do know that it was beyond your ideas of whether things were working or not. Yeah.
Yes, that was just due to us being short staffed, but we've got a new fancy urn, so there'll be coffee, tea available on the night as well.
Fantastic. Even hot chocolate, maybe.
You're just pushing it now.
Bring your own hot chocolate.
Thank you very much for that.
Just, was it at the Grand Prix where or am I thinking from not last year, the year before, where the toilets were a bit short in number?
I don't recall there being an issue last year. We had a disabled and a stand outside of the market, and we also had a disabled access in the VIP area as well.
It may have been the year before, because that's when there were problems with one or two people, and the amount of alcohol they had imbibed.
Well, we've got 2 portable toilets, one for outside the market and then one in the VIP area again this year.
I may be confusing it with the.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the update. And it's also great to actually have so many sponsors for these events that we are able to actually run them successfully. So thank you very much to all those that do sponsor our events. And now item 9, it's Halloween in Cole. Thank you.
So the Halloween event this year, we are looking at to try and theme it mainly on Harry Potter. But the operational elements have been booked, so the first aid, the waste management and the traffic management for the road closure. We've got a variety of entertainment happening throughout the day. So we've got craft activities, face painting, broomstick training, spell casting, potion making, Quidditch training. We've got owls where people will be able to hold them for free and take photos instead of being charged, which I think will be a nice addition. We've got a town trail where people will go into the businesses and collect like wands or Harry Potter glasses, and they'll collect a number of different items, and at the end of the trail there'll be a photo opportunity to look like you're going through the wall at Station 9 and 3/4. We also have a stage borrowing from Barn Aldswick again, which will have a Harry Potter show, live music, Harry Potter magic show, and I've got 1 slot to fill. But we've got a variety of entertainment happening throughout the day, walkabout characters, axe throwing, Punch and Judy, a variation. We've sold out on the stalls, so we've got 40 stalls booked and we've sold out there. And that's pretty much it for Halloween. Axe throwing, yes.
Could be a bit dangerous.
No. So the provider of the axe throwing, everything comes which is contained. So you can't go in front of an axe. There's axe throwing, which will be for the teenagers and adults, where it's a little bit more dangerous, but not putting anyone at risk. Then there's the axling range, which is for the younger children, but everything's risk assessed and insured, and it is an accredited provider for the outdoor education centres. So it'll all be.
I just hope that we will have a first aid on site at that particular part of the events.
To be fair, I've actually done it before. It's very cathartic, so I'd recommend any councillors to actually go and throw some axes about. It's obviously in the safe environment, not just like going round just the town centre just throwing axes about. But thank you for that.
I am surprised there isn't a rodeo broomstick.
I did have a look for a rodeo pumpkin, but it was a bit too much. But the only reason there's so many rodeos at the other events because I got a deal. So keeping costs down.
Thanks for that, Nathan. And now on to Remembrance Sunday.
So all the operational elements are in place. So the road closure, which has been submitted to Pendle and the traffic management. The first aid's been booked. The PA system for the back of the quad has been booked. We was looking at an alternative brass band for Remembrance. So I've contacted 4 or 5 different brass bands, and every single one of them is booked for their own town. So I think we are going to struggle to find a replacement brass band because they do tend to stick to the local towns. So I don't know what everyone wants to do about the brass band, but the bagpiper, I've sent him an email today just to make sure he's available. And then West Riding Hyundai have also sponsored the lamppost poppies. So at the bottom of the poppies it'll say kindly sponsored by West Riding Hyundai Colne. But they've kindly sponsored those for this year, which is nice. But the only thing that needs arranging is the brass band, which we can't hit a brick wall at the moment.
The tune that you got on, or the audio that you've got for the procession from there to there, have you got some different music on it? Rather than, I know it's and what it's remembrance on the war and what was happening during the 2 wars, but have you got a different or a different tune as well added to, so you've got just playing the same tune all the way through?
You kind of want the same beat all the way through.
Yeah.
Councillor Mary Thomas has sent me a audio track, which I've sent over to the team, the parade marshal, just to make sure it is suitable. But we are looking for an alternative track. We just need to make sure it's right.
Yeah.
So we are on with it.
Thank you.
I think with the brass band, I think it's going to be a case of we'll have to go with the ones that we had last year, and if we can get a proposer and possibly a seconder for that, and then we can get that in place. So, thank you, Patricia and Alice. Thank you for that. Now, sorry.
I'm just wondering, when we sing at the event, it is very, very quiet. And I just wonder if there's anybody that would be able to lead us with the singing of those hymns. I know a lot of people do not know them. A lot of people don't have the actual words. And I just wondered whether that would be something that could be.
Are you volunteering?
No, I am not volunteering.
I can speak with the parade marshal and Alex from St Bart's just to see. We can ask a question.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. On to item 11, the Christmas light switch on.
So the Christmas light switch on. At the last meeting, there was a discussion about having stalls outside on the high street. So we've looked into it, and we can have some additional stalls on the high street. However, those traders that will be on the high street will bring their own setup. So we will not provide them with a gazebo or any other equipment. They'll provide their own. They've also been made aware that if for whatever reason the weather forecast is showing that it's not going to be suitable, then we will not be able to provide them space indoors or anywhere else, which they have agreed to. We have limited the number of traders that are booked on outside because obviously we don't want to take away from the indoor Christmas market. But we've sold out of all outdoor pictures. So we've got 15 stalls and then 5 food vendors, which they've all been taken. Inside the fun house, which will be our Christmas market, we've got 28 stalls booked on so far. There's about 12 stalls left for the Christmas lights switch on. People are making the payments already. Inside the fun house will be our Santa Grotto, which our Santa Grotto has arrived, and it's really nice. So it'll be a great addition, but we'll be locating it in a better position so that people can queue outside of the building and in, go see Santa, and then they'll come into the market to avoid any queuing in from the stores or any other issues. But all the operational elements have been booked, so the first aid, the traffic management, the security, the waste management, the road closure has gone into Pendle. We've got a stage booked, so we've gone for a slightly bigger stage than last year. Which we've had a site visit and it will fit nicely, giving us a little bit more room for the acts and the performers. We've got a variety of entertainment happening throughout the day. So we've got dance acts, live music, performing art groups. We've got an interactive elf show, a Frozen sing-along. We've got a Grinch show, which will be interactive. And then we've got our headliners for the finale alongside fireworks. But we've also got other entertainment taking place, such as the rodeo reindeer, the snowboard simulator, donkey rides, Accrington Pipe Band, letter writing, town trail, face painting. We'll have an Olaf meet and greet, Olaf from Snowman. But we'll also have some walkabout characters, which we've got the Grinch and Cindy Lou and 2 Christmas fairies. Unfortunately, the Santa that we had last year he's not been well, so he's not able to confirm any dates at the moment, and he's not sure he's going to be able to do anything this year. So we have had to find an alternative Santa, which we've sourced, and the Santa we've booked is a very good Santa. It was our second choice for last year, and it also comes with 2 elves to take a bit of pressure off the staff for the grotto as well. But everything's pretty much in place for the event. Just a couple of little bits to book and arrange, but obviously there's no rush because it's many months off yet. But everything else is in place. Farmhouse Biscuits have kindly agreed to sponsor the event as well. So yeah.
Can I just ask, where will the market outside be? Which area?
So it will run down the high street. Similar to
About
what?
Boy?
Say that again.
From Live Like the Boy? Or?
It'll be from, we'll start at Tesco Express and Super Sub and work our way up.
Right.
What we're looking at doing with events this year is spreading out the entertainment slightly. So, for example, with Easter, outside the arcade and Richmond Court, you'll have donkey rides and archery, then you'll have the market, and then you'll have the circus shows to stretch the event out a little bit and make sure that as many businesses as possible can benefit from the entertainment and the activities that are happening. So we'll be looking at doing the same for Halloween and Christmas, stretching it out to make sure that people benefit from it more instead of it all being at one end. So we'll start the stalls at Tesco Express and Super Sub, work our way up, and then when they finish, we'll have donkey rides up and down there, and then another activity. Obviously, we have lost Colne Market, so we are looking at additional space for some of the entertainment. But so far, we've found temporary homes for them. But yeah.
And given that we're allowing gazebos outside and we had a little bit of a problem with insurance, would it be the town council that would be liable if there was a problem with one of the gazebos flying into somebody during our event, or would it be?
When we've spoken with the insurers, we would be partly liable. However, this is why we've made traders aware that if it's forecast that the weather is going to be, there is a chance of it being windy, that they won't have the opportunity to trade. So that's why we've given that heads up that if the weather stops them from trading, that's their risk, not ours.
And
Obviously,
it will be obviously the officers that decide that.
It will be,
It'll be made
yes.
clear to them that.
yeah.
Thank you very much for that, Nathan. And this one, item 12, it was proposed by Councillor Michael Moffat. So I'd like for you to speak about this one, the Festival of Arts and the plans.
Well, this was an idea that was suggested to me by Catherine in the Market, who's a published author, to highlight and publicise a lot of the local artistic talent around here. Music, dance, performance art, comedy. To have perhaps street events tied in with the library. Start off small to establish it, and then hopefully, if it takes off, to draw in some of the other groups around here. Because I know, like, you also have local art groups like down at the Primet who've exhibited. When we do the full council, we have SEAG, and I know one of their activities is drama, a chance to showcase their work, things like that. We have 3 theatres and a cinema in Colne, and I sometimes think people don't appreciate just how special that is for a town this size. We've a lot going for us, and this is a chance to publicise and hopefully start something that will go on into the future.
It's a very good idea because I know that we obviously showcase art here in the town hall. We did that last year, had put local artists' work on display, and that was quite popular, wasn't it? But I think the Festival of Arts, I think it is a good idea. I think we could, like the drama performances, we could tie those in, get them performing at, say, the Family Fun Day in Alkin Courts Park, so they've got like more of an open space to perform, and they can get a larger crowd rather than, say, outside the library. There'd be very limited crowd space, wouldn't there? Because they'd be obviously going into the road and
Yes, but around about, there would also be stores where people could sell their works or publicise their works. Some of these local groups to draw attention to what we do. We also have things like poetry readings, something like in those small pubs. You could have poets and pints, things like that.
it's a good idea. How much would something like that cost?
I don't. This was the idea that was proposed to me, and what I did propose is that that Catherine came with fellow artists at the next events committee, if it's passed tonight, to pitch their case fully.
Yeah, we can invite. Obviously, she's welcome to come to the next one on the 14th of May, and we can postpone that until this decision, until that meeting, where we can get like a cost analysis, can't we, on how much it costs to run it, what feasibility study, whether it can get, if there's any room in the budget, for instance, for it. Or
I think one of the things that she was thinking about was that it would coincide with the opening of the new market. So it's not as though it's going to be sort of even perhaps next year. It's something that can be developed. But as we say, if she comes along and just pitches the idea, that would be really.
it'd be good that coincide with like the reopening of the market. I don't think there is like a set date for that. Well, if anyone's ever had any like dealings with builders in the past, obviously all you need to do is look at the Muni really for estimated opening dates, and we don't really want to say give them a fixed date of this date, and then obviously the market not being ready, and then them having to like work around the building site. It wouldn't really be good for them. But obviously we can hear from her at the next meeting where we can get like more of a concrete proposal, and I think it's a good idea that does warrant some further consideration.
I'm actually in favour of this because it's not just performing arts. You've got visual arts, and you've got, as Michael's actually said, crafts, because there's a lot of crafters, and we have one every year at the Hippodrome for 3 days, craft fair, where we have local people who make cards, make cushions, to make jewellery, to make all sorts of things. That, and especially if it's going, as Councillor Mann has said, that it's going to be, we're trying to incorporate with the opening of the market or reopening of the market whenever it is absolutely. They could create, they could be asked to create their design of what it's going to look like in the, how they perceive the market would look with inside, or things that they would like to sell within the market. So yeah, it's a good idea. You've got all the different. The arts doesn't just mean theatre, TV, stage, singing, dancing. It just doesn't mean that. You've got, we are privileged to have one of the most famous landscape artists work as a shop in Colne Market 4 days a week. John Corcoran. And he's an artist, right? So that's art. We have people who can make dolls out of paper. Make a jacket out of waste material. They are artists. So it's a festival of the arts. It should include everything if we are going to do it. But I'm happy to propose that we put this on a further meeting.
Thank you. And Ian, second that. Ian.
Thank you, Chair. It sounds really good. It sounds exciting, but I think we need to be realistic. I know at previous meetings we've had suggestions for events which would have been really good for Colne, and we'd rather say, no, we can't afford it. End of story. And there's always going to be that issue. And I think this is going to be another case of, because we've got craft fairs, we've got this going on, that to say, look, we need extra money for this one event. It's unfair on other people saying, can we have our event on? And what I would suggest is that we incorporate this into other events or work alongside possibly Colne Bid, etc., so that we don't bear the brunt of it. That way it's only fair.
I agree. We have had to turn down quite a few good proposals in the past, and if we can either get this as a standalone or incorporate into other events, I'm all for it. And could we have obviously a seconder to?
Well, it can just go on the agenda for next time, can't it?
So it's.
Following on from what Ian said, what it will require is a buy-in from local groups and clubs. And it's not that long ago that the Colne Photographic Club, whatever it was called, the camera club stopped because they didn't have enough people to carry it on. And similarly, what did say pubs and poems, or poems and pubs? Poets and pints. I know it rhymed better than that. That needs buy-in from the local pubs, and that would need to be the traditional pubs rather than the micro pubs, which would probably jump into it and have had something similar. So I think it needs a lot of thought, and if we're going to do it, pulling together. It's not something that's just going to happen without lots of other people getting involved in it. It probably wouldn't cost an awful lot if clubs and societies are going to pitch in and help. It can't cost that much to put a microphone in a pub and get somebody to read their poems. I mean, they might not sell many pints depending on the quality of poetry. But at the same time as well, we've got to be careful not to stand on the toes of things like the hippodromes, annual Christmas craft fair, which is seems to have been going forever. Well, it can't have been going forever, but it's been going for a long time. So it's going to need a lot of thought rather than it's not something that's going to happen and very easily. But you know, by all means, we have it on an agenda and get people to come and see what the interest from other societies and things is there. Because if it's not there, it won't work.
Haley, okay.
I have access to a portal, the IDOCS, I'm never sure how they pronounce that, which is a funding portal. And when I search that, which is on a regular basis, I've noticed in the last couple of months, there is a very big focus on arts, therapies, musics and such like in that area. They're quite big funding pots. They could be about £5,000 per funding pot. Now, I look at that and I think as Colne Citadel, wouldn't solely go for a 5,000 pot because that's quite a big art pot for us to use. We wouldn't meet its demands, its requirements. However, should we be able to apply for that and work in collaboration with some local artists, if Open Door could do that, enable CRC. There's a gentleman called Paul and the company who runs escapes me. I've got a feeling you might know this, Patricia. Paul, and he's something to do with the arts, but if you add all those people in that have the CROs, the CRCs, the charities that could all do a pot each and do the collaborative working, it might be a way around that little bit of funding.
Is it Paul in situ?
Yes, in situ.
Yeah, I've just got to say that one of the things that she was talking about is she was making a distinction between arts and crafts. She just wanted it to be an arts festival.
Yeah, thank you for that, Michael. We've got some notes on here that we can take forward to the next meeting. And has there been an update from the bid at all? Or?
The bid haven't sent an update, but I know that they are planning a number of events throughout the year. So they're planning the Super Soapbox Challenge, which Nelson and Colne College have sponsored this year, which will be on the 30th of June. So they've moved that so it doesn't clash with the gala anymore. They are also planning the Colne Food and Drink Festival, which will be on the, let's say, the 27th of July. It's a Saturday following the Grand Prix, which they'll be working alongside Independence Street again and doing the Food and Drink Festival. But they are also planning a 70s festival in 28th of September. I think it is off the top of my head, but they've not actually announced what they're doing for the 70s festival. But those are the events that so far we know they're on with. Obviously, they have just had the Winter Bloom, which was a lovely event. People came out to enjoy the parade and look at all the lanterns. But that's all I've really got from Colne Bid.
Thank you for that. Apart from the Festival of Arts, has anybody else got anything to propose as an item for the future agendas? Next month's agenda, Patricia?
Yes, Chair, thank you. A couple of months ago, we talked about Armed Forces Day, because it's the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings this year. And I've been asked by one of our fellow councillors if there's been any movement on this. And I said, to be honest, I couldn't remember what we decided. So that's why I brought it back up tonight.
So at the time, there was it was a time that I think there were 2 or 3 events that were brought to the table, and the committee decided not to put an event on because I think it's the 8th of June, which off the top of my head, I think it's a Thursday. And what the committee decided instead is to use the materials that we got from the King's Coronation, all the Union Jack flags, and actually decorate the town, which will be putting flags up on the businesses like we did for the coronation. But instead of just doing the top end, we'll do it in all the brackets down the high street, because a lot of the businesses down Albert Road also have brackets on the buildings as well. So we'll be putting up like Union Jack flags and stuff like that.
Yeah, could we also try and purchase emblems that represent the different the different forces, i.e., the Royal Marines, the Merchant Navy, the RAF, the Royal Navy, you know, different branches of the army, you know, the different regiments, because members of this town and this parish served in all the armed forces, served in the Merchant Navy, and paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. And may I just correct the secretary? They are not Union Jacks; they're Union flags. Thank you. A Union Jack, Mr. Chairman, is only flown at sea, and it's at the back end of a ship as it is leaving a British port. So please remember that, and that is also for all our people who are watching who mistakenly call the Union flag a Union Jack. It is the flag of the Union, and the three flags that don't make up the flag of the Union flag, is the St. George Cross, the Cross of St. Andrew, and the Cross of St. Patrick. And the Cross of St. Patrick is different to the cross. It is a red and white cross, but it is a red and white triangular cross. That is why you get the red triangular as well as the red straight cross. And the flag of St. Patrick, or what we now call as the Northern Ireland flag, you'll also see it is a star with a red hand. We don't put that on the Union flag because that is not part of the Union flag, because that was not part of the Union when the Union was created. And the Union was created with the inclusion of, when England and Scotland were united, there was just 2 flags on it: the red and white cross of England and the blue and white triangular cross of St. Andrew. When Ireland became part of the Union, that is when the flag of St. Patrick was incorporated into the Union flag. Thank you, Chair.
So just to clarify, you wanting different flags throughout the town for the different.
Even if we can get flags, great, but if we can get either cardboard or polystyrene, not the polystyrene, the emblem of the regiment, i.e., the wings of the parachute regiment, the gun of the artillery regiment, or the sapper regiment, on plaques, or placards or something that can be put on the buildings. That would be sufficient, because not all the regiments would be able to supply you with a standard in time.
The only problem you would have is gaining consent to put them on the buildings, because you'd be installing it in a way, and sometimes it's not as easy as just knocking on to the shop and saying, "Can I put this up?" Most of the time, you do have to find out who actually owns the property. We can have a look at it and bring some costings back, so obviously there's a cost implication involved, but we can do that.
Weren't we, from memory, we were going to light a beacon?
The proposal to begin with was to do a D-Day event around lighting a beacon, and the committee agreed just to decorate the town instead because of the cost of the beacon. They weren't cheap, we'll put it that way. Which is why we decided to decorate the town instead.
Cheers for that. Alex, then Ian.
I was just wondering whether we could invite the businesses themselves to decorate their shops with the particular emblems or forces rather than the town council providing those. And that would be that they took ownership of a particular organisation. We could perhaps ask them whether they would do a particular one so that none were missed out, or we could just leave it up to them.
What could work, because to get some of the businesses involved, not all of them will.
No, that's.
But what another town did for an event is, you might have seen some of the businesses having the windows like painted and drawn on. You could always get the artists to do these different designs in the businesses. Could maybe look at that, which could probably be cheaper than installing plaques on buildings. And the businesses were more likely for us to do that because they're actually benefiting from the window being decorated. We can have a look at the cost for that as well, and bring a couple of options back to the committee, because ultimately it is down to cost, isn't it?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we can bring a couple of options back.
I was just thinking that if we just ask the businesses to do their own thing, then that takes it away from our costs in a way, and they take ownership of it.
Thank you, Chair. Mentioning the emblems, etc., especially regimental emblems, one of the problems we have, thanks to our so-called caring government cutting back on defence over the years, we've lost a lot of the old regiments, which is really sad. Now, our local regiment was the East Lancs Regiment. I don't know what they call it now, but it's not, technically, it's not our local regiment because it, you know. And it's also, we've also got to remember that we think of the Navy, the Army, etc. During the war, it was the uniformed non-military organisations, the St. John's Ambulance Brigade, played a vital role. I believe during the First World War, there was a great tragedy when the hospital ship called the Rohina was torpedoed and sank. We lost about over 80 odd lives. And a lot of those that were killed were members of the St. John's in Barnoldswick. And I know over the year, previously, Barnoldswick used to celebrate Rohina Day. They stopped doing that long ago. And I think we're just in danger of losing track of that fact. Also, a very quick one on you mentioning on the Union flag. People have often said, well, you've got Ireland, Scotland, England. What about poor Wales? Why is Wales never on the Union flag? The reason for that is that Wales is not a kingdom, it's a principality.
Thank you for that, Ian. Well, the date and time of the next meeting is Tuesday, the 14th of May at 7 o'clock. I'd like to thank every one of you all for coming and all